There is a strange paradox that lives in the heart of the people pleaser. We believe that to be a loving person, we must have no boundaries. That a yes given with a resentful heart is better than a no spoken with an honest one. We have been taught that setting a limit is selfish, that protecting our own energy is mean, that our own needs should always come second. But what if this entire belief system is a lie? What if the most loving thing you could ever do for your relationships is to build a beautiful, strong fence around your own well-being? What if a boundary is not a wall that pushes others away, but a clear and honest invitation that says, "This is how to love me. This is how to respect me. This is where I begin and where you end." This is where the inner work of healing the shadow meets the outer work of changing your life. As Carl Jung taught, the goal of life is not perfection, but wholeness. And you cannot be whole if you are constantly giving pieces of yourself away. Today, we are moving from theory to practice. We will explore why the guilt you feel is a lie from your nervous system, and I will give you 3 gentle, practical techniques to start setting boundaries without feeling selfish. If you are ready to learn how to be both kind to others and kind to yourself, I invite you to claim it. Write in the comments below, "My peace is a priority."
Let's begin with a radical reframe. For your entire life, you have likely viewed boundaries as something negative. A wall, a rejection, a weapon, an act of selfishness. Today, I want to invite you to see boundaries in a completely new light. A boundary is not a wall to keep people out. It is a gate, and you are simply learning where to place it and how to use the lock. A boundary is not a rejection of another person. It is an acceptance of yourself. And most importantly, a healthy boundary is not the opposite of love. It is a prerequisite for authentic love. Think about it this way. When you consistently say yes when you mean no, you are not being kind. You are being dishonest, both to yourself and to the other person. You show up to the event or you do the favor, but you bring with you a suitcase full of resentment, exhaustion, and frustration. The other person may get your time, but they do not get your presence. They get a depleted, resentful version of you. How is that an act of love? A clean, clear, and honest no is infinitely more loving and respectful than a yes that is a lie. A healthy boundary says to another person, "I love and respect you enough to be honest with you. And I love and respect myself enough to honor my own needs." This is integrity. And integrity is the foundation of all healthy relationships. So if boundaries are so healthy and loving, why do they feel so terrifying? Why does the mere thought of setting one trigger a tidal wave of guilt? Because, as we've discussed, your guilt is not a moral compass. It is a biological alarm system. It is your fawn response, your old survival program, screaming at you that you are about to break a primary rule that once kept you safe. The rule that said, "To be safe, I must be pleasing. My needs are dangerous." When you set a boundary, you are directly challenging this rule. You are telling your nervous system, "That rule is outdated. I am safe now. My needs are valid." The guilt you feel is the old programming fighting back. It is the friction between your past and your present. The first step in setting boundaries is not to learn what to say to others. It is to learn what to say to yourself when the guilt hits. It is to have a plan for how to ride that internal wave of uncomfortableness. This is where the somatic tools we have been practicing become your lifeline. When you set a small boundary and that wave of guilt and fear washes over you, your first job is to come back to your body. Feel your feet on the floor. take a somatic sigh. Place a hand on your heart. You must anchor yourself in the present moment reality that you are safe. Then, you must practice the art of self-validation. You must have a new voice ready to counter the old voice of the inner critic. When the inner critic screams, "You are so selfish," your conscious, adult voice must be ready to respond with, "I am not selfish. I am being self-respecting," and that is a brave and healthy thing to do. When the guilt says, "They are going to be so angry with you," your adult voice must reply, "I can handle their disappointment. Their feelings are their responsibility. My feelings are mine." This inner work is the non-negotiable prerequisite. You must build the internal container to hold the discomfort before you can consistently practice the external behavior. You are becoming your own secure attachment figure. You are becoming the loving parent to your inner child, reassuring them that even if someone else is upset, you will not abandon them. You will stay with them. You will keep them safe. I remember when I first started this practice, I said no to a small request from a friend, and I felt like I had committed a federal crime. The guilt was so intense, my body was buzzing with it. My first impulse was to immediately call them back, apologize, and reverse my decision. But I didn't. I sat down, I breathed, I put my hand on my heart, which was pounding, and I just kept repeating to myself, "It's okay. You are allowed to have limits. This feeling will pass." And it did. After about 20 minutes of deeply uncomfortable sensations, the wave crested and then receded. And what was left on the other side was a quiet, solid feeling of pride, a feeling of integrity. I had survived. The friendship had survived. And I had proven to my own nervous system that I could handle the discomfort of my own authenticity. Each time you do this, you are building your tolerance. You are building your boundary muscle. You are proving through direct experience that you can be true to yourself and the world will not fall apart. This is how you begin to dismantle the guilt, not by arguing with it, but by outgrowing it. You are creating a new reality, a new story in your own body, one where your peace is a priority and your no is a sacred and honest word.
Now that we have reframed the meaning of boundaries and have a plan for the inevitable guilt, we can move to the practical how-to. How do you actually say the words? The key is to start small. We do not begin by setting a massive boundary with the most difficult person in our lives. That is like trying to bench press 300 pounds on your first day at the gym. You will fail and you'll feel defeated. Instead, we start with what I call micro-boundaries. These are small, low-stakes acts of self-definition that allow you to build your boundary muscle in a safe and incremental way. Each micro-boundary you set successfully is a small victory, a piece of new evidence for your nervous system that authenticity is safe. I am going to give you 3 categories of micro-boundaries you can start practicing today. The first technique is the power of the pause. As we've learned, the people-pleasing yes is often a reflex, a fawn response that happens before we've even had a chance to think. The pause is your primary tool for interrupting this reflex. It is not a no, it is simply a not right now. It buys you precious time to move out of your reflexive brain and into your wise, adult mind. Here are some phrases you can memorize and practice. When a coworker asks you to take on a task, instead of saying yes immediately, you can say, "Let me check my current workload and I'll get back to you by the end of the day." When a friend invites you to something, you can say, "That sounds interesting. Let me look at my schedule and I'll let you know." When a family member asks for a big favor, you can say, "I need some time to think about that and see if it's feasible. Can I get back to you tomorrow?" The beauty of the pause is that it is non-confrontational. Most people will respect a request for time. And in that time you have created, you can do the real work. You can check in with your body. You can ask yourself what you truly need and want. You can practice your somatic tools. The pause gives you the space to find your truth before you give your answer. The second technique is the gentle no but. This is a wonderful technique for situations where you do want to help or connect with the person, but you cannot meet their specific request. It validates their need while still honoring your own limit. It communicates care and respect, which softens the no. It works by saying no to the specific request, but yes to the relationship or to an alternative solution. Let's look at some examples. Your friend asks you to help them move for 8 hours on a Saturday. You are exhausted and need to rest. The old you would say yes and be resentful. The new you can use the no but. Wow, moving is a huge job. Unfortunately, I can't commit to the whole day on Saturday, but I could come for 2 hours in the morning to help you pack the kitchen. Would that be helpful? Or, I can't help with the move on Saturday, but I would love to bring you and your partner a pizza for dinner that night after all the hard work is done. Do you see? You are not rejecting the person. You are simply offering a different, more sustainable form of support. Another example. Your mother wants you to come for a long 3-hour dinner on a weeknight. You are tired from work. Mom, I'd love to see you, but I don't have the energy for a long dinner tonight. But how about I come over for just a cup of tea for 45 minutes after you're done eating? You are acknowledging her desire for connection while respecting your own need for rest. The no but is a bridge. It maintains connection while protecting your own resources. The third technique is the simple, honest truth. This one can feel the most vulnerable, but it is often the most powerful and respected. It involves simply stating your authentic need or limitation without excessive apology or justification. The key is to use I statements and to speak only about your own experience. You are not making it about the other person, you are making it about you. Let's go back to Karen's moving situation. What if she used the simple, honest truth? I'm so sorry, but I won't be able to help you move this weekend. I'm feeling completely burned out, and I need to use this time to rest and recharge. This is a clean, honest statement. There is no blame. There is no elaborate excuse. You are trusting the other person to be mature enough to handle your truth. And most of the time they are. A healthy person will hear that and say, "Oh my gosh, you should absolutely rest. I completely understand." An unhealthy person might try to make you feel guilty. And that in itself is very useful information about the nature of that relationship. Another example, a colleague keeps asking you for your help on their projects, eating into your own work time. I need to be honest. I'm finding that I'm falling behind on my own deadlines, so I need to focus completely on my own projects right now. I won't be able to help you with this. This is not mean. It is clear. It is professional. It is self-respecting. The simple, honest truth is about owning your reality. You are not a bottomless well of energy. You're not a machine. You are a human being with real limits. And stating those limits, calmly and kindly, is a profound act of authenticity. It is the ultimate expression of the shadow work we have been doing, allowing the true, real, and limited self to finally show up in the world unapologetically.
As you begin to practice these micro-boundaries, it is crucial to manage your expectations. This is not a magic wand. You will feel awkward. You will feel clunky. You will feel the fear and the guilt. And sometimes people will not react well. This is an important part of the process to understand. When you start to set boundaries, you are changing the unspoken rules of your relationships. You are, in essence, sending out a memo that says, "The terms of our engagement have been updated."
People who have benefited from your lack of boundaries may resist this change. They might push back. They might try to guilt you. They might accuse you of being selfish or different. And when this happens, it is not a sign that you have done something wrong. It is a sign that your boundary is working. It is creating friction against a pattern that was unhealthy. Their reaction is not your responsibility. I will say that again. Their emotional reaction to your healthy boundary is not your responsibility. Your only responsibility is to state your truth as kindly and clearly as you can. How they choose to receive that truth is a reflection of their own inner landscape, their own maturity, and their own shadow. A healthy person, upon hearing a respectful boundary, may feel a moment of disappointment, but they will ultimately respect it. A person who pushes, guilts, or punishes you for having a need is revealing to you that their connection to you was conditional. It was conditioned on your compliance. And while that can be a painful truth to face, it is also a liberating one. It allows you to see your relationships with a new clarity. It gives you the information you need to decide where to invest your precious energy. This entire process is a profound form of shadow work. Why? Because every boundary you set is a declaration that your authentic self is worthy of protection. Each no to something that drains you is a yes to yourself. Each time you honor your need for rest, you are integrating the part of your shadow that you were taught was lazy. Each time you state an opinion, you are integrating the part of your shadow you were taught was disruptive. Each time you protect your time, you are integrating the part of your shadow you were taught was selfish. You are not becoming a more selfish person. You are becoming a more whole person. This is the journey of individuation that Carl Jung spoke of, the journey of becoming an individual, distinct from the collective expectations of your family and society. It is about withdrawing your projections from others and also allowing them to withdraw their projections from you. You are refusing to play the role of the endlessly available helper or the easygoing one that they have projected onto you. You are insisting on being seen as you truly are, a complex, multifaceted human being with needs, limits, and a voice. Let's imagine our friend Maria, the lawyer. She has been practicing her micro-boundaries. She has used the pause. She has tried the gentle no, but. One weekend, her sister calls asking her to help plan a large last-minute party. The old Maria would have said yes, her heart sinking with the weight of the obligation. The new Maria pauses. She takes a somatic sigh. She feels the guilt, but she also feels the new solid ground of self-respect beneath her feet. She says, "That sounds like a lot of fun, but I won't be able to help with the planning this weekend. My schedule is already full." Her sister is not happy. "What do you mean you're busy? You always help with these things. I'm counting on you." The guilt surges. The old programming screams, "You're being a bad sister. You're selfish." But Maria has her tools. She takes another breath. She grounds herself. She doesn't get defensive. She doesn't over-explain. She simply holds her ground with kindness. "I understand that this is disappointing, and I'm sorry it's not the answer you hoped for. My decision isn't going to change. I hope the party is a huge success." She ends the conversation. The discomfort is immense, but she sits with it. She lets it be there. She reminds her inner child that she is safe, that she is there for her. And slowly, the wave passes. What has just happened? Maria has just chosen herself. She has tolerated the discomfort of her sister's disappointment in order to avoid the deeper pain of self-abandonment. She has trusted herself to be her own safe harbor. This is the work. It is messy, it is uncomfortable, and it is the most empowering thing you will ever do. You are not just learning to say no. You are learning to trust yourself. You are learning that your worth is not external. It is not something to be earned through endless service. It is inherent. It is unconditional. And the more you live from this truth, the more your outer world will begin to reflect it. You will attract people who respect your wholeness, not people who benefit from your holes. And you will finally be free to offer your gifts to the world, not as a payment for your existence, but as a joyful expression of it.
Today, we have taken one of the most courageous steps on the path to wholeness. We have begun the sacred work of drawing a line in the sand. Not a line of aggression, but a line of self-respect. We have learned that a boundary is not a rejection of others, but an embrace of ourselves. It is the ultimate act of telling your inner child, I will not abandon you. I will protect your energy. You are safe with me. We have reframed guilt, not as a moral failing, but as a biological alarm from an outdated program. And we have armed ourselves with 3 practical, gentle techniques to begin this work. The power of the pause to interrupt the fawn reflex. The gentle no, but to honor both yourself and the relationship. And the simple, honest truth to stand firmly in your own reality. This journey is not about becoming a person who never helps others. It is about becoming a person who helps from a place of authentic desire, not from a place of fearful obligation. It is about transforming your relationships from being based on your utility to being based on your integrity. This is the heart of shadow work and action. You are integrating the parts of you that you were taught were selfish or difficult, and in doing so, you are reclaiming your power and your peace. You deserve to live in a body that feels safe. You deserve relationships that feel honest, and you deserve a yes that is as wholehearted as your no. But as you begin to set these boundaries, as you stop swallowing your own truth to make others comfortable, you may notice a new and perhaps surprising energy begin to surface. An energy that has been locked away with your no. An energy that is fiery, powerful, and has been deeply suppressed by the nice persona. That energy is your anger. The anger you were never allowed to feel. The anger at having your limits crossed time and time again. What is this anger? Where has it been? And what happens when we finally give it a voice? What if I told you that this suppressed anger is not a destructive force, but one of your greatest sources of power? That is the profound and vital territory we will explore together in our next conversation. For this week, your invitation is to choose one micro-boundary to practice. Just one. Find one small, low-stakes opportunity to use either the pause, the no but, or the simple, honest truth. Your goal is not a perfect delivery. Your goal is simply to try, to feel the discomfort, to breathe through the guilt, and to stand in your own truth for just a moment longer than you thought you could. This is how the muscle is built. To honor your courage, I invite you to declare your intention in the comments below. You don't have to share the specifics. Just write, I will practice my boundary. Let this be a testament to your own journey of self-reclamation. Thank you for doing this brave and beautiful work. Your authentic self is waiting.